Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are excited to have Scott L. Green, PhD, the CEO and co-founder of the G2 Consulting Group. Scott brings a unique blend of expertise as a licensed psychologist with over 20 years of experience in federal business development, mental health, and public health. Based in Potomac, Maryland, the G2 Consulting Group, founded in 2018, is transforming how health-focused companies and nonprofits navigate the federal marketplace. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business empowers clients in the health and social services, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. Scott, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
An absolute pleasure, man. Doing so much and an incredible background that you have. So truly an honor to have you on the show today, Scott. Take us back to the beginning, if you can, for our listeners here. What specific problem in the federal health consulting landscape really inspired you to start the G2 Consulting Group?
Actually started as a licensed clinician and is doing work with people who needed help with mental health and well-being. As that transitioned into government consulting on behavioral health programs, what I started noticing was I was working at multiple billion-dollar management consulting firms where everything focused on stock price and stock analyst reports, and it was less about what made the most sense in communities and what did people need to have meaningful lives, and so less responsiveness. And so that's where I started, was how do we help communities with what they need and do it in a more responsive and efficient way.
Love it. I love it. So definitely want to dive into that, especially for our listeners who, once this episode airs, Scott, can definitely want to come and work with you in the services you're providing. So walk us through. I have a three-part question for you here. I'm really getting into the nuts and bolts of what you're doing with the G2 Consulting Group. So what is the core offer that you're providing? I know you do some strategic planning, proposal management. How are those offers structured for your clients, and who is the ideal client that you work with on these offers?
Sure. So we have two lines of business. So one is a business to business line where we work with for and nonprofit organizations who want to or already do intersect with federal, state, and local government agencies. We help them with strategic planning. We help them with market intelligence, program management, and full life cycle business development. So how do they win work that will help sustain their organization and make an impact in their communities? For the second line of business is a business to government line where we're doing similar types of technical capabilities around health and human services, where we're doing strategic planning, organizational development and change management, program evaluation. So helping government agencies do that programmatic work for communities and the states and localities that they fund.
Incredible. Incredible. So on that front, obviously some very sophisticated offerings that you're bringing to the table here for your clients. How are you approaching the idea of scaling this type of offer and productizing this type of offer here, Scott? What does that look like to you? Are you more of keeping it boutique and close knit and not growing too much, or are you in the mindset of, hey, I want to scale this to the next level? And if so, what's your mindset there?
We want to scale. I think we want to be smart about how we scale so that we keep what we think is our secret sauce. And it's not that secret, but it's how do you blend good clinical, programmatic, health, and human service knowledge with making government programs work efficiently. And so for us, it's about trying to keep as intimate workplace culture and kind of core set of offerings and a core set of people who can help make that happen, still keep it doable without stretching beyond what makes sense to keep that feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So, I mean, with that being said, and having a nice niche offer like that you're seeing success with, what are you seeing on the acquisition front? What's working best for you guys right now to bring new clients in and have a predictable lead flow, whether that's ads, social media, referrals? What channels have been most effective for you there, Scott?
For us, there has to be a balance between our business to business and our business to government lines of work because there's a longer lead time on the business to government sales acquisition cycle. We really need to ensure that there's good commercial and nonprofit clients coming in the door to sustain us while government officials are evaluating proposals and there's a long lead time. But for us, it's keeping that balance in mind, which can help us stay sustainable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So are you guys doing ads on that front? Did you mention on the for the commercial side, or what does that work to keep those coming?
For us, it's primarily been a lot of word of mouth as we've been in government consulting for 25 years, lots of connections, lots of contacts. We do a lot of, we've started to build up more our thought leadership and online marketing to help drive clients that way. But a lot of it is for us going out and finding good potential clients, talking about how we create value and trying to bring them in and show it.
I love it. I love it. On that side, and as you continue to grow and scale and look to break through some levels here, Scott, are you looking to implement more predictability on that lead generation side? As I mentioned, maybe more around social media, more on doing more around ads to have a more predictable lever that you can pull. Is that the next step for you?
Oh, absolutely. Because I think that's been the challenge on our business to business side is
Yeah.
a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys. And so I think for us to get more predictability, more consistency over time with the clients, the number of clients that we're engaging with and the complexity of those engagements is going to be ideal. Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. I absolutely love it. I know you mentioned of the team aspect that you have. Walk us through what that looks like a bit on the sales process. Do you have a sales team with you, a marketing team? Are you doing a lot of this on your own? Are you running the sales? What does that look like from the standpoint now?
I run most of the sales, all potential client engagements in terms of that introduction to G2. I take care of when we start getting into proposal development. I have a group of folks around me who help based on the content expertise needed for that particular engagement. So there's folks who I have as who can help inform proposals to make sure that they're reflective of client needs.
Absolutely.
So.
I love it. So on that side, obviously being in a founder-led sales environment, is that something that you're truly passionate about and love to do, or looking to put yourself more in that founder role, get a sales team, maybe a setter and a closer to get that facilitating as you continue to grow and scale G2?
Yeah, I that's actually part of the business that I love doing. So I don't think I ever want to. I was raised in government consulting
Yeah,
to be that everyone has a role in business development and growth, and where that's something I would want to, having more bandwidth to support on sales and marketing front, it would be amazing because I think that's probably one of our bottlenecks right now, that lack of
gotcha.
bandwidth.
Exactly. So obviously, as you just mentioned, a couple of the bottlenecks that you're looking at is more predictability on the lead generation side for the B2B side of things specifically, and then again, more bandwidth on the sales side. If you could bring on a setter and a closer, give yourself some more room for breathing, it's going to make things a lot more efficient there. Is there anything else on the bottleneck side? Or are those really the main ones that you're thinking about breaking through this year?
I think those are the biggest bottlenecks. I think on the business to government side, the challenge is a lot of turbulence on at least the federal side of things in terms of Health and Human Services reorganizing. There's all kinds of contract and personnel actions at the federal level, which has created a lot of delays. So, how do we balance being in work while waiting for some of this turbulence to clear on the
Absolutely.
federal side?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Paint us a picture then, Scott. Obviously, you're doing some really big things here. I mean, the niche that you're focused on is incredible on that front. So what does the rest of 2025 look like for you in your mind? Obviously, breaking through those bottlenecks sounds like something that you'll be working through, but what are you really laser focused on for the rest of this year going into 2026 for that continued growth of G2?
A couple of different pathways to diversify. We have expanded our pursuit of state and local work, which is starting to pay off, including a relatively recent contract success in the state of Maryland. We are also trying to pursue small business innovative research grants, which is really seed money to develop products, tools, resources that small businesses can use to help become more sustainable. So we can start proposing ideas to the government to use as a tool that we can then sell more broadly from that. Those are probably the biggest things I'm focused on for the remainder of this calendar year, while we're still waiting for, I think, about 5 different proposals to be evaluated. So.
Love it. Okay. So we're still continuously growing, moving forward. So the nominal here on that front. So hypothetically speaking here, Scott, I'd love to get a little hypothetical throughout the show sometimes. If we were able to snap our fingers and provide you with unlimited resources right now, what are you implementing immediately for the G2 Consulting Group's growth?
It would probably be an in-source of talent. I think to have dedicated folks who with the expertise and experience that we need, and we have those folks, but we don't necessarily have 100% of their time and attention to help us build and grow. That would be, I think, check number 1 on the list to do, is to in-source those folks. I think some platform to bring in some platforms to help streamline administrative processes would be great. Since it's unlimited sources here, that's probably what I would do first.
Absolutely. I love it. I love that. And overall, how do you see the federal health consulting industry evolving in the coming years, especially with your expertise in the mental health and public health side? What are you doing to really position yourself at the forefront of that evolution?
As I'm sure a lot has changed on the federal government landscape in terms of consulting. I think in some cases, those are changes that could help small businesses, which we're looking to try to take advantage of. As most of federal procurement is going to be put through the General Services Administration, G2 has a General Services Administration award contract that we can leverage with clients to bring work into. So that's one way to try and bridge, as the federal government contracting is changing, it's changing towards GSA. And I think, and partnerships will be critical throughout. They always have been, they always will be. How do we, as a small person on the block, how do we collaborate effectively with some good, honest partners to do great work for good people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So with that, right there, I do want to take us into the lightning round here, Scott, before wrapping up the show. And it's incredible having you on, and just love the drive and the passion and the intelligence that is needed to have this type of success in this field. So just incredible, again, having you on the show, walk our listeners through this. On this front, I would love to hear from you one tool or resource that you're utilizing, whether it's a psychological insight, a federal contracting strategy, an AI tool. What can you say is the biggest game changer for the G2 Consulting Group this far?
AI platform, ChatGPT has become a critical tool for us from multiple standpoints. For project work, it has cut our research time in half, while we still have to make sure we're validating and verifying everything that we do through our GPT models. That is a critical tool for helping us, and it's helping us develop initial proposal content as well. We can't just have AI create a proposal and submit it and expect to be successful. There's still that human element to make sure it is compelling, but it's been a huge time savers on those 2 fronts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then just 2 more questions for you here on the advice side, Scott. The first one is going to be, what is the best piece of advice that you have personally ever received about scaling a mission-driven business as you were doing?
Probably the best piece of advice was, be careful with what you're spending your hard-earned money on when you're spending it.
Yeah.
Some investment is absolutely crucial, but some, depending on where you're at, maybe it takes a back burner for right now. So we're trying not to outstrip our resources.
I love it. I love it. And then last, certainly not least here, Scott, what is the best piece of advice that you can offer to our listeners tuning in right now? Just heard your incredible journey and where you're really looking to take this thing. What can you leave them with before we wrap up the show today?
Sure. For me, the best thing that has worked for me is to be comfortable in being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And understand that there's going to be lulls in sales, there's going to be lulls in growth, but that doesn't mean your business idea is flawed in any way. That sometimes there's a cycle to this, and being patient in those times, which is not easy, but to be patient in those times and keep pushing is what you need to do if you want to be successful.
I absolutely love that. With that, right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. And Scott, just can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing your incredible journey and your insights with us. And as I mentioned earlier, just clear as day with the passion and the drive and the intelligence that you have. You're going to do some incredible things in the space. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. And definitely would love to have you back on in the future to get some good updates because I know there will be many. So again, thank you so much. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And also check out the G2 Consulting Group at the g2group.com to learn more about their services and follow Scott on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Scott Green PhD. For more resources and insights, you can visit us here at closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.